iHeartRadio for people who listen there. If you do that from out of state, tell me where. Jerry listens in Palm Coast, Florida. Is that what he said? Palm Harbor, Florida. And funny people on the show over the next few days. Stavros Halkias is going to be on tomorrow. He's doing Saturday night at Playhouse Square. Adrian Iapolucci is going to be here on Thursday. Sam Morrell on next week. He will be on Thursday, I believe. He's doing Playhouse Square too, I think. Everybody's doing theaters. Mm-hmm. Boy, it's a golden age.
Who's that one guy doing a theater?
Take two.
Never mind. No,
go ahead.
That's no.
You got choked up.
Yeah, that one guy doing a theater in December.
Bye, Squire?
That's it. Bye, Squire.
It's the return of Bye,
Squire.
You and Mary are doing a show in December.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. That's the one you're opening for Mariah Carey.
Yes.
Yep.
All I want for Christmas is Bye, Squire.
It's Bye, Squire.
Mary's got a show in Chardon on Friday.
Yes.
You need to tell people about it.
I do need to tell people about it. The Geauga
Is it called
Theater.
Chardon Your Pants with Laughter?
You can come shard your pants at the Geauga Theater this Friday. A nice East Side show from my East Side people. If you're out Menor or Chesterland, Chardon, all that good stuff. Please come to that show.
That's like Brian's old stomping grounds.
It is.
Is he going to come out with you to the Geauga Theater Community Arts Center?
We will have his daughter, so probably not unless we were to get a sitter for the night.
You're not going to do a family-friendly set?
No. Why would I do that?
I'm just asking.
I like my curses.
You like all your salty language.
My cusses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's this Friday. Please, please, please go to geaugatheater.com and get tickets for that. That would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. 8 o'clock show.
This is my only show in town until December. So if you're anywhere near Chardon or willing to make the trip, this is the time to see me because the next Cleveland show I have is the one with Bill.
What's the website?
I thought
Geauga.theater is what I'm looking at. Is that right?
Geauga.theater, yeah.
I didn't even know .theater was a
Geauga.theater.
suffix.
That is the one.
There you go.
Maybe they're the only ones who can do that.
Mary was in Vegas. You know, I have a solo weekend coming up because my wife and daughter are off on a Girl Scout camping trip. And so I saw that Shaggy 2 Dope from the Insane Clown Posse is going to be at No Class on Friday, and I'm probably going to go to that. And you ran into his counterpart.
Dude.
In Vegas from the Insane Clown Posse.
Violent J.
Yep.
Was there. If anybody's familiar with the podcast Legion of Skanks, that's who puts this festival on. It's called Skank Fest, okay? And by
the way, when they tour south of the border, he's Violent Yay.
Violent Yay. They have surprise guests all weekend. There's people they can't announce or they won't announce or that don't want to be announced, blah, blah, blah. So Violent J was one of like their surprise guests. So they did a live podcast recording. And the Legion of Skanks guys, that's like anti-PC, like we can say whatever we want, kind of that kind of culture. And their guests were Violent J from Insane Clown Posse, Roseanne Barr, and Tony Hinchcliffe.
I mean, you know the old saying, where Roseanne goes, there goes Violent J.
Dude, when I say this is some of the wildest things I've ever heard said, I'm sure, I don't know if they'll release it or if they were even recording it, if it was just like a live type of podcast thing. But between Violent J, and by the way, Violent J was on mushrooms. So he kept saying like random stuff that made no sense at any point, and then Roseanne would twist it into how the Romans actually are to blame for all the propaganda against the Jews, and it wasn't the Germans, and they killed her precious Jesus Christ. Like, and then Violent J would chime in with some crazy stuff like, "Yeah, everything was better before man got here." And it was.
Was this a Yonder Bag show?
No. I didn't see any Yonder Bags at any point throughout the entire weekend.
I mean, Roseanne and Violent J over the past few years have both lost a lot of weight. So that must be a wild dais when the two of them are up there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, I was sitting there and I almost felt sad at one point because I was like, not so much Violent J, because I don't know enough about him to know how much of the crazy crap that he was saying, which
Was mushroom induced?
Yeah, was like, oh, I'm tripping so hard right now. But for Roseanne, she just kept taking these crazy tangents. And at one point, Violent J even asked her. He was like, okay, I'm sitting here.
Are you on mushrooms?
No, he was like, I'm sitting here with Roseanne, and you're such an icon. And since I have you next to me, I need to know, why are you so effing crazy? And she like stood up and went on this long thing about mental illness and the government and like it was
sounds hilarious.
Well, see, that's a podcast. It wasn't a stand-up show,
Right.
but it was
I understand.
Intense and strange and confusing, and there were not a lot of through lines. Like at one point, Roseanne stood
You still
up.
hope it's funny though. I mean, you
Well,
have a panel of comics.
I mean,
and Violent J.
The comics were chiming in and saying funny things.
Roseanne's a comic. She's
Roseanne's a
supposed to
comic,
be-
but she was not on
I mean,
some
not
comedy.
so you'd notice it these days.
She was not doing. I didn't see any of her stand-up sets, but apparently it was all kind of like this. It was all kind of ranty, from what I heard. I guess
Just watch Fox's streaming service. That's where
Yeah.
her last hour dropped.
I guess at one point she went on a tangent during one of her stand-up sets about how the vaccine's going to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she's part of that whole the chiming tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we're
And
going
it
to
all
test it
gets
tomorrow, 2:20, when they drop that
activated.
FEMA test on your phones, your televisions. It's going to be like Halloween 3, you know, when the masks melt onto the kids' faces.
Yeah.
Silver Shamrock.
It could be like Get Out when they smack the glass or whatever with the spoon and you
The teacup with a spoon.
you go into a trance.
The upside down or whatever they call it, the underneath.
But yeah, it was truly some wild stuff. She just kept, I'm trying to think of that. Oh, she told this story about Tom Arnold having a tiny penis. Going on and on about how bad her life was and how she doesn't trust men, but she also hates women. And yeah, it was
So
some
it's everybody
crazy
but
stuff.
her.
It's everybody but her.
Yeah, but it can't be easy being Roseanne.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is why I kind of felt bad, where I'm like, she has had a tough time. She's been very open about all her mental illnesses for a long time, you know?
Right.
But it was wild to watch, man.
Well, and a lot of people chalk that up to that car accident she had when she was a kid. She was a teenager, and she was hit by a car. She had like a traumatic brain injury
Oh.
when she was 16. She grew up in Salt Lake City, I think, and she got hit by a car when she was a teenager, and the hood ornament impaled her skull.
I did not know that.
So she's got a plate in there or something. So you can't discount something like that when you finally kind of hit whatever tipping point was, you know. So it can't be easy being her.
Yeah.
Especially when, you know, earlier in your career, you were one very specific thing. And now you are very specifically different from that.
Yeah. I did,
And you know how people don't like you to change.
she did have one line that cracked me up. In the middle of one of her rants, she was talking about how she's a messenger for Jesus and she feels she needs to spread his message and she's compelled to do that.
Oh, she's way into Jesus?
She's a messenger for him.
Ah.
And she kept saying things like my Lord and my Savior and my Jesus. And at one point she was saying, I do wish he'd pick someone else, though, maybe a straight white man so that people would actually listen. And that made me laugh. I was like, okay, Roseanne. She was like saying how she's tired of being the messenger and she wished that Jesus would pick someone that people actually listen to.
Because there's no straight white man claiming to talk for Jesus.
It just made me laugh. It just made me laugh that's what she would like. That one got an audible laugh from me where I was like, okay, you're right. This is the festival of people who don't listen to women. I get that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty bro-y room.
Not even broy isn't the right word. These people were
There's
like,
black t-shirt mafia.
yes, everyone looked as in like just a rushing nesting doll of the person next to them. It was
Gotcha.
a very specific demographic. And here's the thing. So Legion of Skanks is like, they are very anti-woke, anti-PC, say whatever you want. There should be no words off limit, whatever. So like days 1 and 2 of this festival, man, I heard more slurs than I think I've ever heard in my life.
Here's a clip.
Bill Squire's amazing.
One of the funniest guys ever.
He's not woke at all.
Right. Bert wasn't there, but
That's
everyone
not really his vibe. but
everyone
man,
knew By Squire wasn't woke at all.
yep.
But so there's like, they're throwing around, you know, F word for gay people and C word for women. And there weren't, I only heard one N word and it came from an audience member. I don't think people
You
were
got to play
dropping
to your
it.
crowd.
Well, and like Thursday and Friday, that stuff was getting applause breaks. Like the slur for little people, you know, like all of them are getting thrown around. And oh yeah, say whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. But it was like by Saturday and Sunday, even the crowd was getting tired of it, where they were like, we'd like to also hear some jokes, guys.
I was going to say, there's like fake pushing the envelope fatigue after a while.
Well, and that's exactly what it was. Like, you know, there's the classic hack in comedy where people say, like, oh, give it up for the troops, you know, and then everybody claps. But it was like that only for what you're not supposed to say, you know?
Good for the Fs.
Yeah, seriously. Or like, I can't tell you how many comics I heard say the exact same joke, which was, oh, it's nice to be performing in a room full of people who've called me the F word on Twitter. I must have heard that joke 30 times over the course of the weekend. So, I mean, it is. And the guy's like, haha, you said a word you're not supposed to say. But I'm telling you, by Saturday and Sunday.
Technically a quote.
Yeah.
Whatever. By Saturday and Sunday, people were like, it wasn't getting the same reaction it was getting at the beginning of the week. And I mean, I don't have anything like that in my act, but I still did very, very well because
I'm actual jokes.
Yeah, because I'm a good comedian. So when they saw people with well-written sets, those people popped even bigger than the famous people that they were there to see.
Yeah.
So it
Like
was
you
interesting.
and Blake Hammond, who's been on the show.
Yeah,
like,
Blake Hammond was there. He's super funny and he's got fantastic jokes. So we were smashing.
Did you get anybody saying you were pretty funny for a girl?
One dude, I was doing a bit about feminism, which might have been the edgiest thing anyone did all weekend, is trying to talk about feminism in front of that crowd. But one dude screamed out in the middle of it, and he goes, "You're effing hot!" And I was like, "You're such an idiot."
Wait, did he say the
You're like,
F
thank
word or the
ya.
second F word?
No, not the gay F word, not that one. But yeah, I was,
Poundcake, what would be that phrase if they were using the gay slur when he yelled out at Mary?
You're faggot hot.
There you go. He's got to do the quotes. I
gotta
can't do
come up with
them.
it,
Yeah.
I'm
me
your
give you money.
buffer.
I'll be your buffer.
Give you money here. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Listen closely and good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bills. That's bills. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Devotion to accuracy. I said I was going to see Shaggy 2 Dope at no class. Shaggy 2 Dope on Friday is doing The Foundry. I don't want to point people in the wrong direction because that's going to be a fun show. Alan, if Jesus is real, why did he allow Roseanne to make She-Devil?
That's a good point.
I kind of liked She-Devil. I hate to mention it. You know, earlier in the show today, we had Ed Begley Jr., who was the male lead in She-Devil. Meryl Streep, Roseanne Barr, the great Ed Begley Jr. I didn't get to She-Devil with him because the guy's done a million very funny movies and TV shows, and then She-Devil. But I liked it. I didn't mind She-Devil. Now, I did see it when I was 17 years old, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, wild.
Were you hanging? Didn't you send us a Ron White picture?
Ron White. Here's the thing: is that I don't know how much is known about these people.
Was
so
he
I don't wanna
hanging? Was he hanging out with Roseanne?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm assuming they go way back, or at least they were yucking it up like
They probably do.
Well, and they both are like Comedy Mothership, Joe Rogan's
Regulars,
club in
yeah.
Austin. Like that's the only place Ron plays outside of like his own venues.
Does
like,
he live there?
Yes.
Okay.
So Ron White,
Because he got divorced, right?
He got
Yeah,
divorced
he
a few
hasn't-
years ago. He got sober.
Okay.
he doesn't drink anymore. He said he's been off drinking alcohol for 2.5 years,
Right.
which was really cool to have that kind of conversation with them. We were reaching in, they had like a big tub of drinks, and we were reaching for water at the same time. One of those meet cute moments. You know?
Oh.
So we.
That's
he
an
and
old
I were-
man with a lot of money that you should get with.
I know that's the guy who could probably touch me well.
Yeah.
You know?
touch you well.
But he was like the nicest
Want
dude
some of my
ever.
tater salad.
He was cracking me up because people were obviously fanboying over Ron White. I did. I asked him for a picture. I was like, "Hey man, can I get a picture with you?" But like the one time we were standing there chit chatting, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Ron, can I tell you? Please, can I just tell you this crazy story?" And Ron kind of looked at him and he goes, "Looks like you're gonna do it anyway." Like that. So he was hitting people with one-liners like that pretty much all weekend. Pauly Shore was there, which man,
They're trying to get him to play Richard Simmons.
that would be so. I feel like it'd be perfect.
Yep.
He did another weird thing. They were in the middle of a live podcast. Pauly Shore just walked on stage and goes, "Can we give it up for what Joe Rogan's doing in Austin?" And literally the whole room was like, okay. I went on this tangent.
Can we get Pauly Shore on Joe Rogan's podcast? That's what he was doing.
Yeah. It was pretty confusing. Everyone was just like, what is going on right now?
You gotta give it up for the weasel, everybody.
But we were in Las Vegas, so it's Joe Rogan wasn't there.
Right, but if you gotta get the movement started, and those are a lot of Joe Rogan fans, a lot of crossover there.
Yeah, that's true.
Go.
But it was fun. It was just weird.
It was so great. It was weird because that style of comedy is not what I do, and it's not what I'm around a lot. So to see just what's the word? I'm like rabid following for some of these people, and then meet them. And here's what I will say though: everybody was unbelievably kind. Like there was not one comedian that I met at this festival, famous or not, that was just a total douchebag. And they could be. Like, Roseanne wasn't taking pictures with people. That was her thing, where she was like, I'm not taking pictures with a single person because then it's just going to start something.
Then
so
it's
I don't,
all day for her.
She was like, I don't care who you are. I'm not taking pictures with a single person. But she also wasn't hanging out. Like, Ron White was in the green room constantly.
Well, he likes comics.
Yeah.
He likes the hang. He's pretty down to earth for being as
Pauly Shore
famous
wasn't
as he
around
was.
as much. Oh, Harlan Williams says hi.
Oh, hey.
Because I introduced myself and I was like, hey, you've been on our radio show in Cleveland a couple times. He goes, which one? I said, the afternoon one, Alan Cox Show. And he goes, yeah, you tell Alan I said hi. I love that guy. So
We go way back.
Yeah, Harlan Williams knows you, loves you, and says hello.
Yeah, I used to get him chicks 20 years ago.
Shut
Harlan
up.
Williams loves Alan Cox.
Yeah.
When he would come
he's
to
not woke at all.
when he would come to town, we'd go to the club.
Well, there you go.
Because I was usually hosting a club night, and he would come with me. He's great.
Yeah, he was very sweet. He was hanging around quite a bit. And again, him and Ron White seemed to be like the very affable, funny, chill with you, talk about whatever. And then like Pauly Shore and Roseanne were kind of off. I don't know where they were, but they weren't hanging out. They would show up on the podcasts and things like that.
Pauly is a very sweet guy, though.
Every time he's been in, he's been great.
Kind.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is that all these people, the craziness that comes out of their mouth on stage or on these podcasts, they are like genuinely sweet, kind human beings from my small interactions with them.
But I would also assume that a lot of those guys aren't exactly doing that much of that kind of stuff in their actual act. So, like, if you're a fan of that podcast, you might want to go see them and go, oh, well, this isn't really what, you know.
The podcast is. The anti-woke, anti-PC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were a fan of that and you went to go see their act,
yeah,
you might go, oh, well, that's different enough where there might be some attrition.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was just a very interesting
Killed
thing.
another bug with my bare hands.
Good job.
There's
Phil.
been just friggin' gnats in here today, and
I brought them back from Vegas. They're my good luck gnats.
oh, God.
Sorry, guys.
Good luck, gnats. Yeah. All right. Well,
But yeah,
good.
good weekend. Everybody was cool, but it was
Everybody had
truly
fun.
wild to hear some of the things that people were just throwing
Were any
out.
of the wild things that people were saying funny?
Not in the sense of
Like
this
the
is a
shock
good
value of
joke.
it. You're
Not
like,
in the
wow.
sense of humor.
Not in the sense of, wow, that's a great, well-written joke. They were funny and like, I can't believe someone said that.
Mhm.
Like extemporaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of things I can't repeat. Obviously, I'd lose my job. You know,
Just
but,
say to yourself,
right. But
these F's doing their.
just think of every slur you've ever
Yeah.
heard, and that was part of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, it was an experience.
It was an experience.
To be sure.
But the
Trial by fire from
Well,
Mary
here's the
in
thing.
Vegas.
The shows were great, dude.
Mhm.
I had a
They're comedy
noon.
fans.
I had a noon show that had 200 people at it.
Yeah.
At noon, and they were great. They
But
were
when you're
laughing, they were
inside in
killing
Vegas,
it.
you don't know what time it is. There's no clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best
The
part.
festival was fantastic. It was run perfectly, well attended. The fans were there for comedy. Like it was just.
I think the most interesting part is the fact that coming out of the gates with the shocking stuff, people are like, yeah, but then the fatigue happened
did.
quickly.
They got tired of it.
And they're like, just good jokes, please.
Yes. Please just say anything. I don't need to hear the R word every other set.
Right.
You know?
Rental.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rentals are hard to come by. In Vegas.
Oh God, the prices.
Oh, awesome.
So offensive.
You didn't get a timeshare?
I did not.
Okay.
Your loss.
I know.
Could have gotten a free spaghetti dinner.
Technically losing money. I know.
Bottomless mimosas. I got a break. You want to shoot a text? 351